Hey, it's Greg with Premier Luxury Marketing Consultants, and very excited to have a special guest on with us today from Central Florida, one of the top luxury real estate agents there in town, Bent Danholm. How are you today, Bent?
I'm doing great, Greg. It's a wonderful day. Sun is shining. It's a little bit cool today, but yeah, everything's good.
Absolutely. Glad to catch you here. I know the Florida market has been crazy, and it's such a great opportunity to, kind of work in that luxury market as you do. I wanted to find out a little bit about some of your secrets. If we could peel back the curtain today, see how you're selling homes for the most amount of money, but then also when you're representing buyers, how are you finding the right properties and getting them access to unlisted homes? I know you do that as well. So we'll jump into that in a moment. But first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself, where all you sell, the brokerage you're with. Let's start with that.
Yeah, sure. I am with Maxim Realty Orlando. It's a brokerage. I'm actually the managing broker of that brokerage as well. I've been doing this in Central Florida for about, is it 8 years now? And I also have a little bit of international experience. I've been selling a few homes in southern France. I've been involved in a real estate agency in the UK, and I've sold new construction in Denmark, where I'm originally from. So I have a little bit of a broad background for doing this, and I feel I can take a lot of that experience with me to help the Central Florida buyers and sellers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big draw right now. Those international buyers, as well as all over the country here in the US, are buying in the Florida area. Tell me a little bit about that. Why is it such a desirable area for luxury properties in Central Florida?
Well, Florida itself is obviously very attractive for people who are buying luxury homes because we have no state income tax, which is a huge draw for a lot of people. We have a brilliant climate around here, and we have, in the Central Florida area specifically, we have a lot of world-class amenities like the theme parks. We have great private schools, a very varied restaurant scene. We are still close to the beaches without being right on the beaches. We have great high-end shopping around here. So there are lots of things that draw people to the area. We also have a lot of high-end communities with private golf courses, even private restaurants, spas, and everything you need to lead that resort style life that a lot of luxury buyers are looking for. And we are still pretty cost efficient compared to, say, Miami or some of the other places.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always liked is first of all, you're a little bit you're kind of sheltered from a lot of the weather being in Central Florida, so that's definitely a big benefit there. But also it is more affordable. I think that's one of the big benefits. Tell me, what's the difference between the luxury real estate side and more of the traditional or average priced homes? What kind of sets that apart? And how do you help buyers in navigating those differences when you get into those higher priced homes?
Well, obviously, the price point is a little bit higher. There's also a much more limited inventory available if you're looking to buy a house in that price range and that type of home. You're looking at a high degree of custom design and custom architecture. And like I said, resort style living. The best locations are usually the ones where where you find the high-end homes. And it's also a matter of if you're not cash, a lot of my buyers are cash buyers, but if you're not buying cash, the finances can be pretty complex when you're financing homes in the $1 million range. So there are some differences, and what we do is we try to take people through that process and help them find the right home. And buyers expect a lot more from their agent and the property they buy. So we need to be a lot more on our toes, if you like, to help our luxury buyers out than if we were dealing with more regular buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell me, how do you identify some of these properties? I mean, obviously, a lot of people looking to buy a home, they're going to shop online and they may even set up a search on one of those websites where it'll email them when a home's listed. How do you identify and secure opportunities on these luxury homes? Because if your area is like most areas of the country, some of these luxury homes never even make it to the open market. So tell me a little bit about that. How do you find their unique preferences or what it is they're looking for, and then find the properties for them outside of the MLS?
Well, and you're absolutely right. A lot of people, they search online and they don't really find what they're looking for because the inventory that's left is not, well, nobody else wanted it, so why would you want it? So for that reason, we created our Perfect Home Finder program. So what that is, we identify what the buyer's needs and wants are, what are they specifically looking for, where do they want to live, and then we actually, my team and I go out actually and look for properties that might come up for sale, properties where sellers might be willing to sell, and they get exclusive access to these properties. And this approach has a lot of advantages. First of all, you don't have to compete with other buyers. There's no competition. You're not in a rush situation, but you also can usually get better terms when you negotiate with a seller, because they were not planning on selling right now. They were just planning on selling at a time in the future. But now that they have somebody wanting to buy their house, it's a lot easier to negotiate when you're the only one knowing of that property being for sale.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that kind of target marketing approach is what I call it. I know a lot of the top producers around the country, if they're working in that luxury market, they really consider themselves a target marketing specialist, where they're not just running a search as anybody could do, but they're truly finding out what it is that buyer is looking for. And then they can go out with marketing list brokers or mailing list brokers and really target that most opportune seller if you're working with a buyer, or when you're marketing a home as the listing agent, who would be the most opportune buyer for a home. Tell me a little bit about that target marketing approach and why it's different than what a lot of other agents do out there.
Well, it's target marketing is basically when you're targeting your marketing to a specific group of people who are more likely to want or buy your product. It can be applied in any industry. For example, if I was selling, say, basketball shoes, I would target my marketing towards people who play basketball. And the same way, when we identify if we're working with a buyer, we will target our marketing towards the sellers who have that home for sale that these buyers, or that own that home, sorry. They might not be for sale yet. That's the whole point of this. They're not for sale yet. We target our marketing towards the sellers who have a home that this buyer is specifically looking for, and in reverse, when we're representing a seller, we're using that exact same approach to target the buyers who are most likely to buy that home, who has the interest. Say, if it's a golf course home, we'll target golfers. If it's a waterfront home, we'll target people who are interested in water sports. And if it's like an urban luxury penthouse apartment, we will target people who are interested in that type of lifestyle. So we use our knowledge about the sellers or the buyers, what the home is appropriate for, or what home the buyer is looking for, to target the right either buyer or seller and get in front of those people. It's much more efficient than just putting an ad out there. And specifically, if you're looking to buy, it's much more efficient than just looking on the MLS or looking on Zillow or Realtor.com.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that, the target marketing certainly plays a role in, if we go specifically on you representing a buyer, a lot of times they'll have a specific need. Maybe they need a 24-foot dock on fresh water. Well, you can go after those types of homeowners and actually get a list of all of them and market to them that basically says, I have a buyer that wants to buy in your area. So that kind of puts them in a unique position. They're the only one that knows about it. I think that's one of the big benefits there. So I'm sure the target marketing approach you use, whether you're representing a buyer or a seller, it really is just about that. It's that bullseye marketing, that target that you're looking for. If someone has that unique need that they work from home, they need a home office, they need to be on the water, they need some acreage, which there's not a lot of acreage in Central Florida, but whatever it is they're looking for, I'm sure that's where that target marketing kind of comes in, and you can really kind of go after the most opportune prospect for your client then, right?
Exactly. And we have access to all that information, whether it's for information about buyers who are the perfect fit for the home we have for sale, or whether it's sellers of homes that are the perfect fit for the buyer we're working with. And like you said, we can use, and we do use, list brokers to get access to information about the people we actually want to talk to.
Yeah. And I hate to put you on the spot, but could you share an example with me of like where you've used kind of some creative marketing or negotiating strategies with a previous client? Do you have any examples of kind of how you put that in place?
Are we talking about a buyer or a seller?
Either one. Yeah, just kind of an example that way.
All right. Yeah. Well, we had a couple from California. We're looking for a very specific property here in Central Florida, and what we did was we scoured the inventory, the off-market inventory, and the homes in the area that we're looking for, to find homes that fit their specific criteria. They wanted a specific type of kitchen. They wanted a specific type of view, actually. And we went and then we contacted sellers, homeowners that had that type of home, and we managed to find them a home that was a perfect fit. And they didn't even actually come to see the home. They just bought it because of what we could show them, what the home was like, and they made an offer and got accepted.
Yeah, that's one big benefit with technology these days. It certainly helps us a lot. And I know, when buying a home, if you are coming from another location, you've got to have an agent that knows how to, even if it's something as simple as FaceTime or Zoom or recording videos or doing that research that's needed before you make a trip to Central Florida. You do a lot of that for your buyers as well, whether they're coming from anywhere in the state of Florida, anywhere in the US, or even international. They can do a lot of home shopping without having boots on the ground themselves, because you handle
Exactly.
that for them. Let's talk a little bit about the seller side, because I know you're definitely known as a top listing agent when it comes to the luxury price ranges. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, how do you position a luxury home to stand out above competition? Obviously, if there's 7 or 8 really nice homes for sale, how do you make yours stand out there in Central Florida?
Well, first of all, we identify what the unique qualities and amenities of that home is. So we know, like I said before, so we know exactly who we want to sell that home to. And when we've done that, we will tailor everything we do around those specific qualities of the home. So we only use professional photography. And I'm still surprised to see a luxury home on the market with somebody who's taking pictures with their own phone. We use a lot of video. We use 3D walkthrough tours. Like I don't know if everybody knows what Matterport is, but Matterport is a platform where you can do like a dollhouse walkthrough of a home. And we also started to use drone fly-throughs of the house, which gives a really nice feeling of actually walking through the home yourself. Instead of some videographer just walking through the home with a camera, we use a drone to fly through the home, which has been hugely successful. I've actually recently got a home under contract because somebody saw our drone video. They were almost making an offer before they even came to the house. So we use a lot of technology to get this done because most people, I think it's 92% of all buyers, they look online before they buy, or they look at some kind of digital information before they buy, whether we send it directly to them or they find it themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so all of this technology you have, and obviously higher quality video and pictures and that type of thing, you're then tying that in with target marketing to determine who's the most opportune buyer, like who's going to pay my seller the most amount of money for this home here. But then
Exactly.
are you targeting them locally as well as nationally or internationally? And how are you kind of attracting buyers outside of the state of Florida?
Well, once we have all this in place that I just talked about, we will find lists of people who are most likely to buy that home based on our research about the home. So what we'll do, we'll get a list of home buyers, whether they live in Florida or somewhere else in the US. It's a little more tricky to get a list of potential home buyers outside of the US. So for that end, we do more traditional advertising on international websites. But in the US, we go very direct for the potential buyers. With the information we get from the list broker, we can target them on social media. We can target them directly by sending them mailers, email, physical mail, and we do all that to get in front of those buyers that we know are most likely to want to buy that home.
Yeah, and I know that's interesting because, a lot of people don't realize they think when they're selling their home, and we see this nationwide, they think that buyer that's buying my home is going to be just like me. And that may not be the case, especially in some of the sunshine states like Florida, Texas, California, that type of thing. It may be an executive somewhere that's going to use a quarterly bonus to pay cash for a luxury home. We see that happen a lot.
Oh yeah.
And being able to target that right prospect, I think that's the big key. So many homeowners, when they start interviewing agents, they want an agent that's well known in the area or somebody they've heard of a lot or something like that, rather than getting down to brass tacks of the marketing approach that agent actually uses. So my guess would be this target marketing approach that you're using nationwide as well as internationally, that's probably what kind of sets you apart from traditional agents that just may be a local agent not doing such a big splash worldwide.
I think so, because with our target marketing, we are able to pinpoint and put the home in front of the most likely or the most opportune buyer. And that means a quicker sale and a much, sometimes often actually a higher sales price as well. Because we are in front of the people who want to pay more for that home that they have been looking for but not been able to find.
Yeah, very true. Well, tell me a little bit about that when it comes to how much they're willing to pay for a home. How do you balance that getting as much as you can for the seller, but also making sure they remain competitive. Because I know, nationwide, most homeowners, of course, they want a little bit more than their home is worth, and they may even say, "Hey, I want to price it 200,000 higher and see what happens." How do you kind of navigate that with your clients? How can we make sure we get every penny that we deserve, but we're also competitive against the others in the area?
Well, it is true. It's very important to be competitive because overpriced home, no matter how many right buyers you put them in front of, they're not going to get much traction unless you really find somebody who, and that is very rare, somebody who doesn't care how much it costs. So the real trick here is to price it maybe just below what you think it might sell for. That way you often end up with getting more than you originally thought it would sell for. And it makes it sound a little bit counterproductive, but it really does work that way because we can create a sense of urgency for the buyers because we can actually get more right buyers in front of them and often get more offers at the same time. And that's easily achieved when you have a good starting point in the price, and that usually, like I said, ends up selling for more money than you originally wanted to list it for.
Yeah, and I think that makes a big difference. I use the example. I know in the luxury market we hate to use this example, but it's really good mentally to figure this out. If you put your home on eBay, you're going to sell it for a lot more money if you start at $1 than you
Exactly.
would starting it at 2.6 million. When you see
Yeah.
the 69 Mustang with all original stuff and everything looks great, if it starts at $1, you're going to get a lot more people fighting over it. Now, there's always a reserve. You could always say no to anything. Well, that's true when you're selling your home too. But I think we naturally believe we should list the home much higher, hoping to get an offer that's under that number. Doesn't usually work that way in the luxury market. You want to create a sense of urgency. The unpolitically correct version would be, let's get two rich people fighting over it because they're going to get what they want. They're going to pay a premium. And I think that's really a smarter move. So, give me an example of like maybe an advanced strategy of you using target marketing or these negotiating techniques to sell a home for more money. Could you give me a little example of that on the listing side?
I can, yeah. We had a home for sale a little while back where we used exactly that method. We were pricing it low, and we got a few people to get given off on the home, and we actually ended up selling for, to be honest, we did not go in that particular case, we did not go above the original target price, but we managed to sell it on exactly the target price. And I don't think that would have been possible if we had overpriced it from the beginning, because this home had been listed for a much higher price previously, and it never sold. I mean, we got that under contract in what was it, maybe 2 months, and it had actually been on the market for 3 years before we got into the picture.
Yeah, and I know that makes a huge, huge difference because ultimately, when you're selling your property, you do want an agent that can get maximum exposure, that
Mhm.
can get the most number of buyers, but also the most qualified buyers. If they have a need for that property based on certain amenities, they may be willing to pay a premium. There may be something about that property that really stands out to someone that they would pay an inordinate amount. They may pay an extra $50,000 or $100,000 for that home. So that comes down to an agent knowing the area, knowing luxury real estate, and really being able to identify some of those key factors that are going to make the home stand out. I think every home has that one thing that a certain number of people are going to fall in love with. But tell me, like when you're choosing a real estate agent, whether you're buying in the luxury market or you're selling or both, what should you really be looking for in a luxury agent? What should they be? Does it matter what company you're with? Does it matter how long they've been licensed? Are there certain questions they should ask? Tell me a little bit about that. What should they be looking for?
Well, it's to a degree, it does matter how long they've been licensed because most new agents wouldn't understand the luxury market. They need to sort of get through the regular market to learn the whole industry first. Because let's be honest, once you get your license, that's all you have. You don't really know a lot about real estate or selling real estate. You don't have to have 50 years of experience, but I would say probably a minimum of 6, 7 years of experience, and a lot of experience selling high-end properties. It's crucial that whoever you choose also knows and understands target marketing, so they know how to approach and find the right buyer or find the right seller if they're working with a buyer. Because otherwise you can spend a lot of time either looking for a home and not finding the right thing, or you can spend a lot of time on the market not getting sold. It's also important that they're willing to put their own money and time and effort into whether you're looking for a home to buy, because it's definitely not free to target market. So it's important that it's somebody who has the resources, both in terms of a backup team where they have some marketing people working with them, and also the money available to invest in whether finding the right home or the right buyer for that home. So I think those are knowing and understanding target marketing, and the
Yeah.
ability to also actually utilize this, because you cannot do target marketing without investing in marketing.
Yeah, I think that is a misconception a lot of people have. I can't tell you over the years, all around the country, how many people I've talked to that say, well, my brother's a realtor, I'm going to use him, or, my hairdresser is a realtor, or somebody that I used in the past that sold me this home, maybe using them. And I always ask, how much money can they invest in target marketing for you? If it's just a freebie type real estate agent that's going to look at what's on the market, you can do that on your own. But are they really going to be able to invest thousands of dollars to market your property correctly? Do they have that capital? Do they have that knowledge base? Do they have the support staff and team to really do a good job of exposing your property the right way? It takes a lot more than just listing a home on the MLS. I think everybody in that luxury price range certainly knows that's the case.
I
And
agree.
tell me a little bit about that. I mean, on the technology side, how has technology and the digital marketing world, how has that changed the way homes are bought and sold nowadays?
Well, like I said a little bit earlier, a lot of buyers actually look at digital assets, whether they are online or through the agent, and so it's so crucial that you have everything right, because online is where people see their homes before they even decide to go in. Whether it's a home we found through target marketing for them, we would have to use digital assets, video and pictures, to get them to understand whether or not that house is for them. So that has made a huge difference, and also different. You don't really have to look on paper ads anymore. You can get a lot of information with the digital pictures, videos, and any other information we can provide to our clients.
Yeah, definitely a good way to go. And having someone that can find out really what you're looking for and go out and find what's not publicly available, what's not available to that general population. I think that's what gives you a big advantage there. So having a target marketing specialist that knows the luxury market, there is a little bit of the good old boys club, where you find out a lot of things from the other luxury agents that your typical real estate agent may never hear about. There's this thing called whisper listings that we hear about
Yeah.
nationwide, where the homeowner wants to sell their home, but they don't want to be publicly listed. They don't want lots of showings. They certainly don't want open houses, just where random people can come through their home. So only those top producers are really going to have that inner line, that inside passing lane for getting that information and being able to share that with their clients. I think that's a huge advantage to having some of these top producers here. I know you've got an informational package for those that are looking to buy or sell, and you just kind of provide that for everybody with no obligation. How could somebody get that information from you? And can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, that's really easy. All you need to do is call or text me. That's probably the easiest way to get hold of me, by calling or texting. Or you can send me an email, and I'll be happy to provide you the package. The package will depending on whether you're buying or selling, the package includes everything you need to know about how to get your home sold. And technically, with that package in hand, you could probably do all this, what I'm doing, yourself, but you would have to invest a lot of time in it. But yeah, it's a really comprehensive package that shows you exactly what we do and how we do it. We're not hiding anything in that package.
Yeah, I think that's a very important part for so many real estate agents. They have a postcard or a trifold brochure or something on them. But when you get into that luxury market and you get into those more affluent real estate agents, they really do have a comprehensive package that is very educational, that can show you a little bit, give you some tips on what to do and what not to do in either preparing your home for sale, or if you're buying, how to buy the right way and avoid being stuck with those leftover homes that you see
Mhm.
online.
Yeah.
So, almost all of the luxury agents that I interview, they've got a very specific informational package that so many people can learn from. I've got stacks of them from other agents I've worked with here,
Mhm.
and that top end, top tier real estate agent, man, they can provide a lot more value for you that way. Ben, what's the best way for somebody to shoot you a quick text? What's your phone number there?
My number is 407-288-0704, and I tend to answer that phone from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on a daily basis. So just shoot me a text or give me a call, and if I'm busy, I'll get back to you really, really quick. I usually respond within minutes when possible.
Very good. And how about an email if somebody wants to email you?
Yeah, that's also pretty easy because you have my name on the screen. So my email is Bent, like my first name, at bentdanholm.com. So
Very good.
it's very easy to remember.
Okay, very good. Well, I certainly appreciate your time. I'm always interested in learning from luxury agents that understand that target marketing approach and can help their client at a much higher level than that traditional real estate agent. So it's always fun to kind of get your inside perspective on how things work here. Send me one of those informational packages as well. I love checking it out, but I'd recommend for everybody watching right now, grab that information. I think you'll get some really good tips. And whether you're looking in Central Florida, really anywhere in the state of Florida, I think this is going to help you tremendously. Reach out to Bent, and he'd be happy to help you as well. Bent, I
Yeah.
appreciate your time today.
On that last note, if I can just interject a little bit, sorry, Greg, but
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I have helped people from Miami to Ocala, so anywhere in that area in between, just give me a call, and I'm more than happy to give you
Yeah, one
give you
benefit's you're licensed for the whole state, so you can
yes.
really do anywhere in Florida, and it's not like you take lots and lots of clients. You only work that luxury market is always your preference. So I think that's going to be a big plus there. So thank you so much for joining us here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
All right, bye bye.